Okay, so I just woke up. I don't care what my hair looks like. You know that already. I don't care what I look like. I'm still upset about what happened, what I saw happen in real time yesterday. I thought Zack Snyder was a nice man. It seemed that way, but I've never seen, like I said, I've never seen what I saw last night. Anyways, from the beginning, what I know of Zack Snyder. I don't remember the order of these movies, okay? I know that I saw Watchmen in the theater, and I liked it very much. And, I, uh, I didn't like that thought that Matthew Good was miscast, and, because I had read the graphic novel, which is weird, because I don't usually read those things, but I had read it. And, being a fan of Patrick Wilson already, I think that's probably why I read it. Because I knew it was there and I knew he was going to be in this movie. So I just didn't like the end a little bit, but I thought most of it was great because it was obviously pretty much the graphic novel brought to the screen almost as is, and you don't really see that faithful of an adaptation of anything. I mean, looks wise, and it looked great. Here comes a truck up the street. um, So then Man of Steel came out and I hated it. I hated it so much. I mean, I gave it a 1 at the IMDb. I hated what was done with Superman. Um, as I was a kid who, grew up watching the Christopher Reeve movies all the time when they were on. Not a little kid, like 10, 12, stuff like that. Christopher Reeve is still Superman to me. I like Henry Cavill very much. I like Brandon Routh very much. Their movies didn't do them justice as far as Superman, but Superman is Christopher Reeve to me. Probably always will be. But I didn't like Man of Steel. When I think Batman v Superman, I always forget if Batman v Superman or Justice League was first. I think it was Batman v Superman. Anyway, when I did decide to see the second one, I said, okay, you hate the direction they've gone in, but if you're going to watch a movie and give it a fair shake, you have to accept that this is what Superman's like in these movies. So I thought it was okay. It was alright movie. Fine, whatever. Then Justice League, I actually did like. I liked it. Now, I had heard that, Joss Whedon had taken over because something had happened with Zack Snyder's daughter died, and I didn't remember why the studio did. I guess in my mind I just figured that he had wanted time off and they had a release date and they wanted to plow through to that release date, so they just said we're getting somebody else, which would be terrible if someone's daughter died and they needed time and you said, okay, well, no, too bad. But in the end, the end product, the Justice League the theatrical one that came out by Joss Whedon, I liked it. Now, Joss Whedon, I tend to not like Joss Whedon's stuff exactly. Like, I watched some Firefly because I like Nathan Fillion. I watched Serenity. I like Serenity better than Firefly. But of Joss Whedon stuff, I never watched Buffy. I wasn't interested in that. Of Joss Whedon stuff, the one thing I did like was Dr. Horrible's what is it, blog? I'm too old to remember words. Alright, but sing along blog. Dr. Horrible's sing along blog. I really like that. Otherwise, the Avengers movie, I didn't like it that much. So because to me there was like I said, there was always something missing with Joss Whedon's stuff, but I didn't know what kind of person he was. I didn't watch a lot of his interviews and stuff like that. If he's a jerk or whatever, I don't know. But like I said, I was fine with Justice League. It was entertaining, because to me, with superhero movies, that's what you usually go for. I know Nolan really made, films out of Batman with his Batman trilogy, which was next level, and it's not even close. to all the rest of superhero movies. And it wasn't. It elevated itself to film instead of being a superhero movie. Those ones. So, when I started hearing people wanted to release the Snyder Cut, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was weird that these fans were so up in arms and they were so desperate to see this Zack Snyder's version that would have come out had nothing happened, supposedly. So I just thought it was weird, and I thought they were funny, and I thought, what are they doing? Why do they think these people are ever going to do this? They're never going to release that. These fans are crazy. They're nuts, right? And I saw them for a long time do this hashtag like crazy, just to annoying levels, yeah? And then when they said that there was a cut and they were going to release it, I was like, what? You mean they succeeded with their annoyingness? You know, and as a fan of things, I was happy for them. You know, I didn't particularly care. You know, because like I said, to that point, I kind of knew I didn't really like Zack Snyder's movies. Now, 300's his movie, right? And I don't remember if I watched all of it. But I know I wasn't interested. I know that maybe half an hour of that and I would turn it off. It's not my thing. So, when I'm watching what I did last night, and I'm talking about the movie, like I said, I watched it like the first quarter of it, and it seemed very much like 300. It seemed very much to have that tone, and so that makes it completely opposite to the Justice League that Joss Whedon made, because again, the Justice League that Joss Whedon made is much closer to a typical superhero movie that's supposed to have some levity and some bounce to it. Now, like I said, I didn't see the whole thing. I only saw that first because it's cut into 4 pieces. I saw that first piece and I kind of fell asleep. So I don't really know if I'm going to like it, the rest of it, or not. If it's following that kind of 300 kind of thing, I probably won't. But I'm not really motivated to watch the rest of it right now, because I woke up just feeling awful, because I've never seen what I consider to be a betrayal in real time live on the internet. And because whichever way you put it, fans, a huge number of fans, got him his movie back. And they may be fans he likes or fans he doesn't like. Now, like I said, as a nerd, as a film buff, to me, I was a movie fan. One of the first movies I saw was Star Wars. Because I liked Star Wars, I liked other genre type movies. I did like superhero movies. I did not read comic books, but I like superhero movies. I like anything fantasy movies. Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie. The extended edition, you know, I love a 4-hour movie. That's my sort of thing. So, but in terms of being a geek in that way, of reading comic books and all that stuff, I never did that. But sort of more towards a nerd. Love Star Wars. Love those movies a great deal. Influenced my life a great deal. Being, you know, a kid that tried to do well in school, I was around a lot of nerds. I know how nerds are. I know what they're like. I've been around them my whole life. They're ornery sometimes, but they're decent people. And in my experience, whether it was in the early days on internet, I used to get into arguments with people about Star Wars on a message board called Nightly Net in the beginning. And I used to go very early on in my time on the internet. I used to go to Ain't It Cool News a lot. And I used to be in the talkbacks a lot. So without physically being around these guys, these types of guys, I was interacting with them, you know, not on a daily basis, excuse me, but often enough. And everybody is a jerk sometimes, and everybody says the wrong thing sometimes. But I never experienced any kind of particular nastiness because I was a girl or anything in the community of geeks and nerds and talkbackers and anyone like that. You know, it was just people around a common interest who mean to have fun. Arguments happen. People say stupid things, and you move on. And it's just, so I never saw the kind of nastiness that supposedly exists. In terms of Gamergate, I'm not a gamer. I mean, when I was a little kid, I had an Atari. I played video games. I will play a farm game now to pass the time or something on the internet, but I am not a gamer. So that whole thing is lost on me when people get online and they play video games together in real time. That's not something I do. But I know this is a huge community and these people do this, and that's how they become friends. And so for like the Gamergate controversy and stuff like that, I have no experience with that. I have no information on that. I don't know one way or the other. I just know that my interactions with people in this community have been just exactly the same as my interactions with people in real life. You get along with some people, they're jerks sometimes, they're arguments, whatever. You move on. Now, in terms of Geeks and Gamers, I don't know how long I've been subscribed. I mean, there were times I unsubscribed. There were times I followed them on Twitter, and then I unfollowed them, because that's what happens. People piss you off sometimes. They say something, and you're like, oh, forget these people. But the fact is, I think they're decent people. I think they have differing opinions than me sometimes. But, as I've talked on so many subjects, so many things became so political and so ridiculous in the last 4 or 5 years. And, in terms of entertainment and fandom of any kind, just movie buffs, or it's really separated along political lines, which is sad, because to me, like I said, all this stuff should be like Calgon, to take you away from real life, to take you away from problems, to take you away from the stupidity. If you might not know, but if you've seen any of my other videos, I already hate the race debate. I think it's stupid. People think I'm a racist just by saying it's stupid. Think what you want, okay? But the fact is, I have not seen racism in my time of watching videos from Geeks and Gamers. I think that, yeah, you have a lot of white guys there, and sometimes they would say things that if you heard it in a group with, certain types of people who are going to be triggered, you would be standing next to them. Okay, without them saying anything, you would know your friend was going to be triggered. Okay, do these people mean harm? I do not believe that they mean harm. I just think that they are people who have opinions. We all have opinions. We all try to, as the kids call it now, speak our truth. I think there's only one truth. But anyway, because I want my freedom and I want to be able to express my opinion, I will let anybody say whatever they want, because that's what to me is most important. The most important thing is freedom of speech, freedom of thought. I've said that before. So we're entering into a time where that's being stifled for whatever reason. And these are the kind of people who fight against that. So when everybody fights against censorship or any kind of blackballing or canceling people, I am going to think, okay, well, this is something I agree with these people on. This is something I can get behind, because I'm totally against cancel culture. We know that already. Okay. So the Snyder Cut's coming. They got what they wanted, not just this group of people, but all the fans of Zack Snyder and his vision for, they got what they wanted. I was happy for these people. I didn't particularly care. I did not like Man of Steel. I said it. I don't care. It didn't, but these people were so excited. And I had no money. Yesterday, before the stimulus check came in, I had 25 cents. My life is utter ruin, utter turmoil. And again, you just want to have a good day. You just want to make it through. I had to pay some bills. Already, I don't know how I'm going to get beyond this little bit of help. I watched people who have no money donate up the wazoo last night in that stream. I watched people who had to flee San Francisco because it became a hot mess during this past year. I watched them donate $1,000 and be called basically a racist in no time flat. Um, and these people were so happy. They were enjoying themselves so much. If you could watch the stream before Zack Snyder came on, these people were so happy. Now, Ryan Kindle is the younger guy. He, in the beginning, when he first showed up, he was a little bit more brusque, and, you know, I don't know where he comes from. I don't know his background. But, you know, he's softened over time. He's become nicer. And he was so excited these last couple weeks about the Snyder Cut. So excited about this stream. It really meant something. In the last few days, he was really building up to just being ridiculously happy in this moment, to be at this moment. And this was like graduation in the prom for these people who this released the Snyder Cut thing really meant something to them. And they were so happy. And they thought they were not pals with Zack Snyder, but they thought they were on the same side. They thought that they had really won in getting the Snyder Cut. They were so excited to see it. And here I am being old and you know, what do you want to call it? Jaded, leading up to this, thinking, oh, these guys, you know, Hollywood people don't really care about you. You know, it's nice that they're doing this, and I'm happy for them that they feel like they won, but I just, you know, I realize that Hollywood's a business, and in the end, this rich man is going to benefit anyway, and they're doing this because they want to befriend him, or be nice to him, or feel like they're in it together, and they're doing this charity stream, which he didn't need the money. If he wanted to give money to charity, he could do that, but the idea was about bringing, you know, awareness. You know how celebrities always want to bring awareness to their causes and stuff. So in that way, they really felt like there was a thing there. They had all come together to do a thing. And then Zack Snyder comes on the stream, and I was right there watching it, and he basically tied this community, this Geeks and Gamers community, to racism and attacks on Asians that have been happening, and the shooting that just happened. He did it in a few words, but it seemed as though whatever he said previously, whatever he said to these people behind the scenes, suddenly, with the camera on him, he was disavowing these people and saying, okay, I know it says Geeks and Gamers, but I don't like those racists. So I'm not affiliated with those racists. And Asians. And it just seemed like he was calling them racists, kind of calling them racist against Asians out of nowhere, which is a label they've been having to fight, whether you believe they are or not. This is a label they've been having to fight. Somebody just did a blog on them, like I said, calling them, saying they radicalized Ryan. This is coming from who knows where, but they fought for Gina Carano. She got fired. You stoke the fire, sometimes you make things worse. I don't know if that's what happened, but you pick your battles, you do stuff like that. I would not personally have fought as hard, because in the end, powerful people tend to win. That's why this whole release the Snyder Cut thing, I felt happy for these people, but in the end, it was just, you know, this rich man's movie got released, and the fans did that for him. And I don't know what they were really getting in return, except the ability to pay to watch it. You know, so because he benefited in such a way from all the fans doing this hashtag for so long, for him to take a section of the fandom, Geeks and Gamers community, and disavow them in such a way that said, it was just saying they're racist and I don't have anything to do with them, which was insane. Because he decided to do this stream with them. Uche Nwaneri, as far as I know, I didn't know him as a football player. Like I said, I watch football, but I don't know all the players on all the teams. He somehow became involved with Geeks and Gamers because he also is a geek and gamer type guy. And so in a weird way, he's this famous person who was part of their group. And it's through him that the stream was supposed to happen. So I was like, it seemed like it was Uche's stream. But then Geeks and Gamers got involved. Now, Geeks and Gamers has all the fans of them. You know what I mean? They have their own section of fans. And it was that section of fans that was there last night donating their money. Okay, and it was those people that had the donations past 50. The goal was 50,000. They had it past $50,000 before Zack Snyder got there. And it was their money. These people who are not rich. It was their money. And they were excited to watch this. And they were excited to have Zack Snyder there. And like I said, it was graduation and the prom rolled into one. And he came in and was happy to take their money and call them racist at the same time. Look, I immediately got so angry. I mean, livid, because I cannot stand seeing anybody treated like shit. That's why when somebody tries to call you racist, somebody tries to call you bigot, somebody tries to call you anything, my whole life, I was the kind of person who stood up for people. Nobody stands up for me. You know, but I always stood up for people, not because I wanted to get something back from them, not because I thought they would be there to stand up for me, just because it's the right thing to do, because it makes me upset. And I've stood up for all kinds of people at all kinds of times. I've stood up for people I disagree with. I've stood up for people who hate my guts. Because nobody should sit there and have to take abuse by themselves. Nobody should. I mean, if you stand and you watch somebody be treated like shit, I blame you. I blame you. And I know a lot of the people who we call SJWs, a lot of the people who we call woke, I know that's what they think they're doing sometimes. That's why it gets me so upset, because I don't want to hate them either. And I understand where they're coming from, and I understand they want to fight for people. But you can't stab one person to make somebody else feel better. You can't drag somebody else to make somebody... That's not how it works. Everybody has a soul. Everybody has a heart. Even you, whoever you think the worst person is, I still think they're a human being. That's why I don't want anybody canceled. I really don't want anybody being called names of any kind. I don't want people having slurs. I certainly don't want anybody being attacked. And if anybody who's killed in a hate crime, I don't know what's wrong with people who do that. I don't know what their damage is. You know, so... to see those people who were so happy to be there, so happy to see Zack Snyder, so happy to give their money and feel like they were doing something important, even if they didn't have the money to give. For those people to be called racist in real time by Zack Snyder, that was heartbreaking. Like I said, I don't care. You know, I didn't give any money. You know why? I don't give money to causes. A, I don't have any, but B, I don't trust charities. I don't trust these things. And in the case of suicide prevention, I don't know what the money goes to. I'm not a person who thinks suicide is an evil. Again, I believe that people are autonomous beings and they should be individuals and they should live their lives as they see fit. And I believe in freedom, and that means the freedom to take your own life. So, if somebody had a horrible job, I would never tell them that they had to keep doing that job. That's how I view this issue. And I know people think I'm a horrible person because of that. Like, if everybody makes it one more day, you know, in a very Wilson Phillips fashion, just hold on for one more day and things will go your way. That's not been my experience of life, and I know it's not a lot of people. So I don't even if I had the money, I probably wouldn't give it to a charity like this. I don't give it money to charities. You help people as you can, because charities and things like this, there's so many people on the take. There's so many people who, especially virtue signals, who are there for their own ends. They're there to look good. They're there to, in cases like big charities, like Red Cross and stuff like that, some of those, so much of the money you donate doesn't go to what you're donating, because they're paying salaries, they're paying administration salaries that are huge, and things like that. So when you understand that, when you've been alive for a long time, you understand what's going on about that stuff, you start to get iffy on donating money and things like that, especially when you don't have it. Now, like I said, these people didn't have money. They wanted to do this for Zack Snyder, like a present for Zack Snyder, this money they were donating. And he called them racist to their face. And I was like, oh, thanks for the money, you goddamn racists. And I couldn't believe it. And everything that happened in the streams after that, I mean, that's how I ended up staying up, because I fall asleep so early. I ended up staying up because I was so upset, and I couldn't believe what happened to these people. And Uche apparently was the one who got very involved with Zack Snyder, and I'm sorry, but everything he was saying in the streams last night seemed like somebody who had been really taken advantage of, somebody who had been lied to. And he was arguing with everybody else, telling us all to fuck off, and calling us motherfuckers repeatedly in the chat. And it just evolved into this horrible thing when these people were supposed to be so happy. And I can't have anything but a horrible feeling about Zack Snyder today. Because why would you do that? All he had to do was not do the chat in the first place. If he really had misgivings about it, if people were really coming after him, telling him you can't associate with Geeks and Gamers, then come up with some stinking excuse. Say, you know what? We're too busy with everything. We can't do the stream. Or, you know what? Yeah, I know I was going to do it, but my lawyers told me not to. Anything. He could have said anything to not come on that stream and flat out call those people racists, which again, I don't believe they are. Whether he believes it or not, if he believed it, I don't know why he would have associated with them in the first place. This isn't his first day. They would have looked that shit up before. That hit piece by that blog, whatever it is, that's been out for about a week. He could have called it off, last night. He could have called it off the night before. He could have called it off 3 days ago. But that doesn't seem like that's what he wanted to do. It seemed like he wanted to say. He wanted to take the money, take the prestige, take the moment, and disavow them, and call them racist. I mean, like I said, this is not something I've ever seen before. I can't think of an example of somebody saying, oh, thanks for your donation. You're horrible people. Goodbye. Oh, thanks for the money. You're trash. Goodbye. I completely think you're gross. Because that's what he was doing. And I don't care. Like I said, I don't care. You could think that the Geeks and Gamers are vile, and you could think that they're horrible people, and you could believe whatever you want to about them. But what I saw yesterday from Zack Snyder is just, the words betrayal, the words cowardly, I don't know. I'm not, in my old age and my lack of talking to people that much anymore is not allowing me to come up with the right word. I mean, dastardly, there's something underhanded about what happened, and it made me so angry. I don't expect a lot from human beings. I think they are trash. That's why somebody like myself would like to leave this earth, and I've said so many times. But whatever you may think about people in that moment, for somebody to treat them like that, to treat other people like that in that moment, that was so nasty and underhanded and just like betrayal. I need a stronger word than betrayal, because that's what it was, and I have nothing but a bad feeling about it. And I don't believe in tit for tat. And when people get angry, like say there's a bad guy in the media and they say, well, he deserves it because look at all the stuff he did to other people, or look at everybody in the moment. I will always look at the moment and say, this person shouldn't have done this. That's why I don't have a lot of friends, because I will take everybody's side. And I've been doing this for years. And I will say, well, I can see their side and I can see their side. And if this person kicks that person, I'm going to hug the kicked person. And next week, when the kicked person kicks them back, I'm going to go hug the kicked person, because nobody deserves to be kicked. Nobody deserves to be treated like shit. Even the worst people do not deserve to be treated like shit, because why do you need to treat another human being like shit? To make everything about race and gender stuff, this is not something I like to do, but I don't think anybody should treat anybody else like shit. And what I saw in real time was Zack Snyder treating a good chunk of the fandom like shit, and it made me think of how, the whole thing was him getting his movie released because of fans in general. And if he could treat a certain section of the fans that way and seem like he just used them for, that donation money, or used them to feel good about himself or whatever, it seemed like somebody used, if he used them, probably also used everybody who did the Snyder Cut hashtag, probably didn't give a rat's ass about anybody, which, again, of course, he's a Hollywood person. Why would they give a rat's ass about anybody? But that's why when the fans were fighting so hard, it was odd to me, like, why do you care that much? This man doesn't care about you. And to see it all play out in real time and just be such a nasty thing, I'll eventually end up watching the rest of this, because I paid for it now. I paid to see this, and I think it's sad. I think it's so nasty. I just have a horrible, just a low feeling about what was done to human beings. I know that people will sometimes say, well, what about these people? Of course. Anytime anybody is treated like shit, it's a problem. I know yesterday seemed to be a day I guess everybody was supposed to say they come out for the Asian community, of course. Of course, I don't even understand where this anti-Asian stuff came from, because it can't be just because somebody said China virus. Those people, a lot of the people who are attacking Asians had to have hated them already. You don't just suddenly grow hate because of a virus. You're not going to harm people for something. I just found out I don't like Asians. Let me go knock over some old people. No, you're a piece of shit from the beginning. You know what I mean? You probably disliked Asians from the beginning. If you're going to knocking old people over, you know what I mean? And whoever this person was with the shooting, I still don't know the backstory on that. But anybody who goes and kills a bunch of people, they're not right in the head. And that doesn't mean people should get off with temporary insanity. I'm not saying that. But you don't just walk into somewhere and kill a bunch of people if you're wired correctly. So if racism goes along with that, if that's why this person did it, it's doubly evil. But I have not heard any anti-Asian sentiment, certainly. And that's the thing. When he said that, and he almost attached the Geeks and Gamers community to some kind of hate group, and he attached the Asian thing onto it, I started to say to myself, is this Kelly Marie Tran again? Did somebody say some shit about Kelly Marie Tran to him? Because going back, I loved The Last Jedi. I remember going to Awards Daily, where I used to go all the time. I said this before, to talk about movies. And that year, because I'm just a fan. But I know a lot of people that are Awards Daily actually are involved in Hollywood. They actually are, voters from the Hollywood Foreign Press, or, you know, Oscar voters. So when I liked a movie or I liked a performance, I would go out of my way to, just do little comments about it, just like repeat the name. And at the time that year, I said I thought that Kelly Marie Tran should get nominated for supporting actress, because sometimes those categories are weak anyway, but I thought she did a really good job. I really liked that character. I know a lot of people in this community hated the character. Nobody hated Kelly Marie Tran. And I know I heard vaguely at the time that she had been chased away from social media because of bullying or something like that. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't follow her on any social media, so I didn't know. But nobody wants to get bullied away from anything. Nobody wants to have that happen to anybody. But all I've heard from people is that they liked her, they didn't like that character, or they felt that the film did a lot of woke type politics thing. I didn't look at the film with those lenses. I don't look with that lens one way or another. I watch a movie and I look at the movie in front of me. Unless a movie is really pandering and really just being all about whatever social movement as a day. I don't see those things when I go to the movie. I sit there and I watch the movie. And half the time I come out and people start saying it was about this, I didn't even notice. I was just watching people in a story. So at the time, like I said, I liked her. I was on the internet saying she should be nominated. I didn't know what anybody else was saying about her. I didn't know what was going on with that. But I've known since then that people were accused of somehow hating her or whatever. And I don't know if it was about her being Asian. I don't know. But I know that they have been hit with this tag of all the fandom being toxic fans. And that's why she had to leave social media. And I'm just saying to myself, does Zack Snyder think that they hated Kelly Marie Tran? Did somebody reference that to him? Did somebody grab his arm and say, oh, these are the kind of people that made Kelly Marie Tran leave the internet, and now people hate Asians, and you're going to go on that live stream with them? I could see a scenario like that where somebody grabbed him and said, how can you have Asian kids, and in the middle of everything that's going on right now, and with the shooting in the massage parlor where, several Asian women were killed, how can you go on there with those people who hated Kelly Marie Tran, which nobody did? But I could see somebody grabbing him and saying that. And if he believed it, to then come out and try to disavow them at the last minute. But none of that was true. And nobody I've heard of in this world supports any violence against Asians that's going on. Nobody I've heard of thinks any of the shit going on is okay. I know people are so involved in their own lives. A lot of people don't even know that happened, because they don't watch the news constantly like some of us. But to say that in that moment was so sad for the people who cared so much. I did not care so much, but I hate to see anyone attacked. If the worst person in the world is being attacked and people are piling on them, it's going to bother me. I don't like piling on. I don't like cancel culture. I don't like people being removed from society. It doesn't matter if I agree with that person or not. It doesn't matter if I like them or not. But in this case, I had some basis for knowing these people. I don't believe for 1 second that they're racist. I don't think they have anything to do with what's been going on with Asian people. I couldn't believe that Zack Snyder disavowed them to their face, basically gave them the finger while taking the money for the charity. It's just so upsetting and disgusting, and I have nothing but bad feelings about Zack Snyder now. That's the truth of it. And I just think it's lousy, and just, I don't know. Like I said, it's just a word that I cannot come up with. If I was on the Brady Bunch, I'd say Benedict Arnold, right? I hurt for those people. And they said that they all felt, and I've been personally attacked, and I know what it feels like, and they all describe the feeling you get when you're betrayed, when somebody stabs you, when somebody does a real wound, a personal hit to your character, to your heart, and to your soul. And that's what they were all describing. And that came from somebody who they were there to celebrate. They were there to give their money to a charity for him. And he did that with one strike to so many people. I just am filled with bad feelings this morning. I woke up feeling lousy. I went to sleep feeling lousy. And I can't believe it. And it makes me really sad. And this has gone on forever. And I'm sure nobody is watching this. But I have a disbelief feeling. I have a sadness. And I just wish human beings would not treat other human beings like shit. However you view those human beings. To me, it's just so sad. I don't even want to do anything today. I've got shit to do. And I don't feel like going out. I feel like laying back down. It was just taking what should have been a great moment. And it's beyond dousing flames or extinguishing a fire. It's just, or peeing in someone's Cheerios or raining on their parade. They were throwing the parade in your honor. And you rained fire on it. I don't like Zack Snyder anymore if I ever did. I thought he was a nice man. I don't think that today. This stuff is just every day it's something else.